So welcome back guys to We Talk Boxing, and today I'm going to be talking about Top Rank and their latest event which took place on the weekend, which saw the main headline between Keyshawn Davis versus Deniers Bevanchik. Now, this event took place in Madison Square Gardens and it was on Friday the 14th. I didn't watch it live, but I did watch all the fights full on YouTube. The ones that I'm going to pretty much be talking about today. Now, the only fight that I didn't watch, which I probably will go back and watch, was the Abdullah Mason fight versus Manuel Haymes. Didn't watch that one, so I probably will watch that on YouTube, and maybe even the Nico Ali Walsh fight as well. He sustained a loss in that fight. Ali Walsh, obviously the grandson of Muhammad Ali. So I probably will watch that back just to see. But I think the first fight that I'm going to be talking about was a heavyweight fight between Jared Anderson versus Marius Colias. Or Colias, hopefully I said his name correctly. Now, overall, Jared Anderson won this fight. It was a 10-round fight. It was a unanimous decision. One of the most noticeable things that you could see from Jared Anderson is that he was a little bit heavier than previous fights that he's had, and he looked to me a little bit slow, lethargic, heavy sort of thing. I don't know why or what that was about, but he got the job done, and I think that's all that matters really. And it's difficult because when you're coming off a loss, a devastating loss, I should say, where you got knocked out in 5 rounds against a big heavyweight, in Martin Bakole. It's quite hard sometimes to come back, and you know what I mean, because you got a lot of things going through your mind. But I think this was his first fight back. It is a case where, yeah, he wanted to go out and try and perform. He personally probably didn't think it was going to be as hard as what it was, but I think the most important thing for him was coming out of that fight with the W. Now, his opponent, on the other hand, Marius Colias, hopefully I said his name correctly. I've never heard of him. He's a Greek heavyweight boxer with a record at the time of 12 wins with 3 losses and 1 draw in his record. Obviously, that changes now to 12, 4 and 1. But I've never heard of this guy before. But he put on a half decent performance. You know what I mean? He was never a world beater. He was never really going to trouble Jared Anderson. But he did catch him clean quite a few times with some big shots. And then that was probably more of Jared Anderson's mistakes, I should probably say, because he chose at times to stand and trade and try and hold his feet and hold the centre of the ring. Whereas previously, Jared Anderson, you know what I mean, he used to do that lean back, but he stopped. He didn't really do it as much in this fight because in the Charles Martin fight, he was getting caught with the right hand too much, so he didn't really utilise it. So it's something that potentially that they're looking to try and break out of Jared Anderson. But it's a case where he was standing and trying to trade at times with Colias, and that was his downfall against Martin Bakole. Martin Bakole, big heavyweight, big hitter, durable fighter, and he stood there and he tried to trade with Martin Bakole even when he was hurt, and obviously eventually got stopped in that fight. So I don't feel as if he's kind of learnt his lesson from that Martin Bakole fight. Um, but there is a little bit of work, well, quite a lot of work there for Jared Anderson to do to potentially be considered, obviously, a prospect heavyweight title challenger or winner in the future. But one thing he does have is very, very, very good offensive skills and very good combination. He's a very good combination puncher, and he does have a little bit of power. So that is something that he does have going for him. One thing I do think he needs to do is maybe find a more defensive coach. I don't know who, but there will be people out there that, you know what I mean, can brush up and tighten him up a little bit because he is a little bit too easy to hit. And if you are getting caught quite easily against your more of a unknown heavyweights, when it comes to fighting against the bigger heavyweights, you're just going to leave yourself open and it could be an early night. Now, in terms of another fight which I'm going to be talking about, it was on the undercard. It was Xander Zayas versus Slava Spuma. Now, this was a 10-round fight. It went 9 rounds. Xander Zayas got the TKO stoppage in the end. And it was a very, very, very good performance from Xander Zayas. Now, for anyone who that doesn't know Xander Zayas, watch some of his fights on YouTube. For me, I consider him to be potentially a future 154 world champion. If not, I mean, he could potentially clean out that division. He's got the skills. He's got all the attributes to be the best 154 pounder out there. But he's in a tough division. There's some good names in that division, as we already know. Probably the most noticeable name, obviously at the minute, is I always get this guy's name quite wrong, but it's what's his name? Um, you've got obviously Fedorov, and obviously the Russian guy, Murtazli. Oh God, I don't even know. I'm not going to bother pronounce his name, but the Russian guy is very, very good. Obviously, you got Crawford there, but Crawford's obviously looking for the big fights now, so not sure how much more he wants to pretty much stay in the 154-pound division. And then you got Sebastian Fundora as well, obviously with 2 belts. But in terms of Xander Zayas, he is future for me. I think he's gonna. He's got the potential to clean up that division. Now, this performance, I generally thought from round 1 it was going to be a quite easily and comprehensive fight for him, because it looked like that guy shouldn't even be in the ring with him. It looked like he was comfortably sparring someone in the gym. He was just too quick, too sharp, too big for his opponent in the first round and a half. But something changed, and I think what changed is that Spooner knew that he's gonna have to be prepared to take 2, 3, 4 shots just to land 1 or 2 of his own. So that's what changed for me in that fight. And obviously Spooner came out and he gave some. He did well for himself. He was landing some good shots on Xander Zayas, but nothing troubling. But the stoppage was a good stoppage in the end, and obviously Xander Zayas remains unbeaten and pushes forward with his career. He is currently unbeaten, 20-0. 21-0 at the minute. But yeah, future's bright for Xander Zayas. Now I'm going to be talking about the main event between Denis Beriček. He was the champion. He challenged, not challenged, but he defended his belt, I should say, against Keyshawn Davis. Now Keyshawn Davis, we all know, got a lot to say about himself, hypes up himself quite a lot. Very, very good, talented boxer. I haven't seen a lot of Keyshawn Davis up until now. This was the first time really that I wanted to sit down and watch Keyshawn Davis, and I've got to say, he is a problem. He is a problem for the 135 division. He made light work, I should probably say, of Denis Beriček. It was a very, very comfortable performance for Keyshawn Davis. First round and a half, 2 rounds were quite competitive, but round 3 and 4, when it ended in round 4, it was all one-way traffic, and Beriček was lucky to make round 3. Keyshawn Davis probably should have got him out at that point, but the bell rang and they continued for the 4th round, and it wasn't not long in the 4th round where the fight got stopped. He got KO'd. Brilliant body shot, which took everything out of him, to be fair. So yeah, Keyshawn Davis is one I will be watching. He's in a good division. A very competitive division. So it's just whether or not Keyshawn has what it takes to dethrone the bigger names in that division. Obviously, we know the other Davis is probably the main man realistically in that division. That's Gervonta. But you've also got Loma in that division. We don't know what he's pretty much going to be doing. Then we've got Shakur Stevenson, we've got Zabeda, we've got Cruz, got Martin, got Farmer. So some big names in that division. And from the British point of view, you've got Cordina, you've got Sam Noakes, a few decent British names there as well. So yeah, overall, good performance from the guys that I mentioned. Decent show. It kind of went under the radar, to be honest. Didn't really know too much about it. It wasn't really promoted as well as what it probably could have been. But yeah, the future's bright. There's a few decent American boxers there. Keyshawn Davis has the potential to be a big star. Jared has a lot of work to do. And Xander Zayas, obviously Costa Rican, I think he is, or Puerto Rican, and future 154 world champion. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Did you watch the fights? Did you watch the show? How do you think each fighter that I mentioned performed? And do you reckon any of these guys can maybe clean out their division and become a superstar? As always, please let me know your thoughts. Please subscribe and comment. Bless.